Thank you so much, DJI, for making my video yesterday completely irrelevant. If you've been sleeping under a rock, DJI has released new version firmware for the smart controller that brings official enterprise support along with other bug fixes that we definitely wanted and some improvements that are much needed. So definitely let's go ahead and update this smart controller, but stick around, I'll tell you what's new. What's up? Welcome back, everybody. My name is Original Dobo. Here on my channel, I do drone and tech related content that is completely unfiltered. So if that's your jam, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button before you leave this video. Seriously, it's right there. Smack it. It's free. So DJI has released brand new firmware that is available for your smart controller. Brings the smart controller firmware version up to v01.00.0530. Also brings the DJI Go 4 app to the most current version of 4.3.16, along with the Pilot app of 1.3.0. Pretty awesome. Now, the only way you can get this update officially is by using the DJI Assistant on the DJI website. Go to the download center. I'll put a link in the description below so you can grab that. So it's got to be the DJI Assistant for Mavic 2 to update it. So it will initially prompt you and allow you to update the firmware, but it's not going to install and you're just going to be looping, wondering why it's not installing. So skip all the aggravation, go directly to the DJI Assistant, and that'll get it done. So what's new in this version? Well, they've added aircraft management under settings. Once connected to the smart controller, an aircraft can be added and managed for the Mavic 2 Pro Zoom Enterprise. So that means basically we can use this as a universal controller now. I'll still have to test that because I have 3 aircraft sitting behind me and I have to constantly link that back and forth. So from what I'm reading here, if that serves me correct, that means I can leave them all linked to one controller. Can't fly them all at the same time, obviously, but I won't have to constantly relink. If that is the case, and that would be awesome. If it's not the case, don't take that as a misleading statement. We'll still have to test, but that's what I'm reading from here. They've added dual controller support as well, which does require that 4.3.16 Go 4 app, which we do have. They've also added a warning prompt if the compass of the remote controller requires calibration, which I haven't had that issue yet, but that's pretty awesome that they've added that. They've added an option, this is probably one of the coolest, to have the All right. They've added a prompt to have the external SD card as the default storage. That is perfect. That is exactly how most Android phones are. And I'm glad to see that that's finally here because you can put like a 64 gig record, do all your screen recording and not take up the internal storage, which is primo. They've added the camera look once enabled. If a user presses focus or shutter, DJI Go 4 app not running in the background, the photo will be taken and a video will be recorded. So as long as the app's running in the background, you'll still be able to record or take a video, which pretty cool. They've added in the ability to DJI Go 4 app Pilot. So basically they've added in the ability for the Go 4 app and the Pilot app to be updated independently, so you don't have to have a system update. Like if you remember from previous versions of smart controller firmware, you've had to update the version firmware on this to get the latest app. Now the apps can be just pushed and updated directly. And they've also optimized some storage for the micro SD card. Now you can share devices directly with DJI Go Share. So a lot of great fixes, and this is one of the firmware updates that I would highly advise you do if you have the smart controller, because it's going to make your experience with this much better. It sucks that you can only do it with the the DJI Assistant application from a Mac or PC. Also, if you are going to update this, make sure you're using the cable that DJI supplied, because I did try my Mac cable and it wouldn't work. I don't know if it was because it was Thunderbolt. I did also try another USB-C cable and it didn't work either. It wouldn't recognize the smart controller, but when I plugged it in with the official DJI cable, it worked just fine. So something to keep in mind if you're going to be doing this, make sure you are using the official cable that came with the remote. But anyways, I'm stoked. I'm gonna get flying. I actually wanna try this out right now with the Mavic 2 Enterprise because I've already unlinked this because I had to do a gig yesterday with the Pro. So let's just see quickly how this actually pairs up. I'm just gonna turn on the Enterprise here now. I've already got my smart controller here. Dude, I'm so pumped. This is awesome. Put this in Lincoln mode. This is already booted up. Yep. All right, so that links up. Incompatible. All right, let's restart. So it's switching now. That's cool. Oh, that's awesome. So it's actually switching. I don't know if you can see this on screen, but it's actually switching over to the Mavic 2 Enterprise now. That's awesome. And then what should happen is it should boot up into the Pilot app. I know people were asking me, well, how can you get this to work directly with the Pilot app? Obviously, the official firmware is the way to go. SD card, yep, yeah, oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. So it now automatically boots the Pilot, and it also asked me if I wanted to set the default storage to my SD card on the second boot, so that's pretty cool. The update, by the way, took about 15 to 20 minutes to do on the computer, so it is a pretty lengthy update. And now you can see it's coming up to the Pilot app, and I'm just gonna tap Pilot, and now I'm in, and everything should be functioning like normal. Hopefully it doesn't make me re-sign into my DJI account. That would sort of suck. I would hope it would take that information. One-click authorization, yeah. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do all this jazz. I gotta agree to the privacy policy all over again. Sign your life away type of thing. And bam, I don't wanna be in the product. And there we go. All right, come on. Yep, and we're in like Flint, so that's all working cool. So I'm gonna power this down real quick, and now I just wanna test the Mavic 2 Pro to make sure that that is like, I don't have to go through this re-linking procedure. So this one is already linked to the smart controller. So in theory, by just turning this on and having the Mavic 2 Enterprise off, I should be ready to go. If this is the case, this is like huge, especially for me using multiple drones for my line of work. That would be awesome. So going back, let's see what it says. All right, let's see if I can go into the Go4 app. And the Go4 app actually isn't even listed here when, let's see. Oh, it says switch aircraft, cool. So now I'm adding a device. I'm adding my Mavic 2 Pro. It's making me press the Lincoln button. Maybe once they're bound, that's different. Let's see, okay. Let's go ahead and say Dobo Mavic 2 Pro. So it's letting me put like a little inventory in here. This is cool. They sort of need to do this with the controllers too. All right, so I've got an inventory in there. So it's switching now. Come on. Sorry if this is taking long and seems like I'm totally excited, because I really am. I think this is pretty cool. This is probably one of the better updates that have been pushed to the smart controller since it's come out. This has obviously been under close scrutiny since it came out. Like, a lot of people were really negative about this, but there it goes. So, all right, so now it shows that I'm back on the Mavic 2 Pro, and it's connecting back to Go4 now. So that's good. Of course, it's got to do an update. So anytime you update Android, it's going to want to update all the resource files there. It's hard to see. It's not in focus, not in focus. Anyways, you got the idea. So it's going to update that. But I want to see now that I've had both of these paired. All right, let's see if I turn this one on at the same time, if it's going to let me switch back. I have no idea if that's going to let me do that. See, I want to think that it is paired. What is that blinking? So that's not blinking. Let's switch the aircraft now. So I'm going to add this device. I'm going to add the Enterprise Dual. All right, so we'll say, yep. All right, so now this one's disconnected. That one's connected, but I had to press the button twice. I was gonna wait to test this, but I'm just so curious about this. Like, I'm more excited about this than anything else, I swear. So it reboots the controller each time. So every time you switch, it's rebooting the controller. Let's see. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see. All right, so I'm going back in here. I'm gonna try to switch the aircraft again. So now I have, you can see sort of like my shelf here. I have my 2 Mavics that I've programmed. I'm gonna switch back to Mavic. So, okay, so this one disconnected now and this one's connected now. And it's switching, it takes a little bit. It's like doing this little load screen here. Holy shit, that's amazing. That is amazing. That is the best feature of this whole update. Screw the dual controller. This, if you own 2 Mavics or you're in the commercial line and you still have like a Mavic Pro, this is amazing. This is amazing. There it is. So I'm happy. So we just now confirmed that that does work. Definitely go ahead, update yourself to the latest version. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging out in the comments section down below. But as always, guys, reminding you to stay original. We'll see you next time.